Maya Rivera sits in the glass-walled conference room at Horizon Tech, hands trembling as she watches her best friend since college, Lena Chen, accept the senior product director position, Maya's position, the one Maya designed the entire pitch for, the one she worked 80-hour weeks to earn. CEO Richard Hastings shakes Lena's hand while Lena's eyes meet Maya's through the glass, and there's something cold there, something victorious. Maya's mentor, Patricia, squeezes her shoulder and whispers, "I'm so sorry I voted for you." Maya realizes with horror, Lena didn't just get lucky. This was calculated. The chapter ends with Maya finding a forgotten folder in the conference room, Lena's handwriting on a strategy document titled Project Elevation, Removing Obstacles. Maya takes the folder home, her hands shaking as she opens it in her Seattle apartment. Inside, printed emails, manipulated project timelines, and notes in Lena's handwriting documenting concerns about Maya's leadership capabilities and strategic meetings with Richard. There's a timeline spanning 6 months. Lena has been systematically undermining her. Maya's boyfriend, Jake, a corporate lawyer, looks at the documents and goes pale. This is career sabotage. But proving it without getting yourself fired is going to be nearly impossible. Maya realizes she can't go to HR. Lena's girlfriend, Sophie, just started as the new HR director last month. The trap was perfect. Maya meets Lena for their usual Sunday coffee at their favorite cafe, Pike's Brew, pretending everything is normal. She needs to understand what she's dealing with. Lena is radiant, talking about her new office, her strategic plans. Then she says something chilling. "You know, Maya, you're too nice for leadership. You let people walk all over you. That's why I knew I had to step up." The condescension is barely veiled. When Maya carefully asks about the promotion process, Lena's smile turns sharp. "I just helped Richard see what was always true. Some people are leaders, some people are support." Maya excuses herself to the bathroom and throws up. Her best friend of 12 years doesn't just think she deserved this, she thinks Maya deserved to lose. Back at work Monday, Patricia pulls Maya into an empty office. "You're not the first," she says quietly. Patricia reveals that 3 years ago another woman, Simone, was pushed out of the company under mysterious circumstances, also after working closely with Lena. Patricia has kept in touch with Simone, who now runs a successful consulting firm in Portland. She gives Maya Simone's number. "If you're going to fight this, you can't do it alone, and you need to be smarter than she was." Maya realizes this isn't just about one promotion, it's about a pattern, a predator who's done this before. Maya meets Simone at a hotel lobby in Portland. Simone is poised, successful, but her hands shake when she talks about Lena. "She made me look unstable, emotional. She gaslit me in front of the entire leadership team until I quit before they could fire me. I had a breakdown that took me 2 years to recover from." Simone shows Maya her own folder of evidence, emails, therapy records, a lawyer's consultation she could never afford to pursue. The thing about Lena is that she never leaves fingerprints. She's brilliant at making you destroy yourself. But Simone has something valuable, the name of a private investigator, Marcus Way, who specializes in corporate misconduct. If you're doing this, do it right. And Maya, don't underestimate her. She'll sense you coming. Maya hires Marcus with her savings, $5,000 as a retainer. Marcus is methodical, asking questions about Lena's patterns, her relationships, her methods. Within a week, he discovers something interesting. Lena has done this at 2 previous companies before Horizon Tech. At both, she rose rapidly after a female colleague mysteriously left or was demoted. She's a serial career climber, Marcus explains. She attaches herself to talented women, learns from them, then eliminates them and takes credit for their work. It's a recognizable pattern once you know what to look for. He warns Maya, they need ironclad proof or this will backfire spectacularly. Maya makes the hardest decision of her life. She'll stay close to Lena, playing the supportive friend while gathering evidence. She congratulates Lena publicly, volunteers to help with her transition, even plans a celebration dinner. Lena buys it completely, her guard dropping. At the dinner, after 2 glasses of wine, Lena becomes expansive. "You know what your problem is, Maya. You're too emotional, too attached to people liking you. In this business, you have to be willing to do what others won't." Maya records the conversation on her phone hidden in her purse. It's not much, but it's a start. That night, Maya cries for an hour, mourning the friendship that was apparently never real. Marcus makes a breakthrough. He's traced Lena's work emails through metadata analysis, legal since their company property, and found something damning. Lena forwarded Maya's proprietary project files to her personal email 6 months ago. then presented modified versions as her own work in private meetings with Richard. There's a digital timestamp proving Maya created the documents. This is intellectual property theft. Marcus grins. This is the thread we pull. But we need more context. We need to know why Richard chose her despite this. Maya realizes Richard might be a victim too, or he might be complicit. Maya starts paying attention to Richard's behavior around Lena. They have closed-door meetings daily. There are lingering looks. Then at a company happy hour, Maya sees them leave together, Lena's hand briefly touching Richard's back. Maya follows at a distance and watches them get into the same car. Marcus runs a deeper check. Richard is married with 2 children, and his wife, Caroline, is a prominent figure in Seattle's non-profit community. If there's an affair, Marcus says, and if Lena has leverage over him because of it, that changes everything. She's not just manipulating you, she's manipulating him too. The revenge is no longer just about the promotion, it's about exposing a corruption. Maya does something risky. She anonymously sends Caroline Hastings a carefully worded note suggesting she check her husband's professional relationships. 3 days later, Marcus reports that Caroline has hired her own private investigator. The net is widening. Maya feels a pang of guilt. She's potentially destroying a marriage, but Jake reminds her, "You didn't create this situation. Lena and Richard did. You're just refusing to be their casualty." Maya realizes that sometimes justice requires collateral damage, and she has to be okay with that. Lena, overconfident in her new role, makes a critical error. She presents her innovative strategy in a board meeting, a strategy that Maya recognizes word for word as the one she outlined in an email to the team 6 months ago. One board member, Thomas, seems confused. "Didn't Maya propose something very similar?" he asks. Lena smoothly dismisses it. "Maya contributed some initial thoughts, but the strategic framework is entirely my development." Thomas doesn't look convinced. After the meeting, he pulls Maya aside. "I've been watching carefully," he says, "and things aren't adding up. If you have concerns, my door is open." Maya has found an ally on the board. With Thomas's quiet support, Maya and Marcus compile a comprehensive dossier. The timeline of Lena's undermining, the stolen intellectual property with timestamps, evidence of the affair between Lena and Richard. Marcus got photos of them at a hotel, records of Lena's pattern at previous companies, and statements from Simone and 2 other women Marcus tracked down. The folder is 3 inches thick. Jake reviews it from a legal perspective. "This is devastating," he says. "But you need to be prepared. When you detonate this bomb, there will be fallout. Your career at Horizon Tech is probably over either way." Maya makes peace with it. Some things are worth more than a job. Before Maya moves forward, she receives an unexpected visitor. Sophie, Lena's girlfriend and the HR director. Sophie looks destroyed. "I know what she did to you," Sophie says, crying. "I found some of her notes. I confronted her and she told me it was just business, that I was being naive." Sophie reveals that Lena has been emotionally abusive in their relationship too, controlling, manipulative, making Sophie question her own reality. "I want to help you," Sophie says. "But I'm terrified of her." Maya realizes that Lena's destruction extends into every relationship she has. Maya offers Sophie protection and a plan, official HR testimony, in exchange for help getting Sophie safely away from Lena. Maya and Marcus orchestrate the first public move, an anonymous tip to a tech industry journalist, Kendra Wu, known for investigative pieces on corporate misconduct. The tip includes enough information to make Kendra curious, mentions of intellectual property theft, a pattern at multiple companies, a possible affair affecting corporate decisions, but not so much that it can be traced to Maya. Kendra starts asking questions around the industry. Word gets back to Horizon Tech that a journalist is sniffing around. Lena, for the first time, looks nervous. Richard calls an emergency executive meeting. The pressure is building. Lena, feeling the walls closing in, launches a preemptive strike. She goes to Richard and the executive team with a shocking claim. Maya has been behaving erratically, making unfounded accusations, possibly having a mental health crisis. She presents evidence, screenshots of Maya's questions about the promotion process, taken out of context to seem paranoid and obsessive. She suggests Maya needs professional help and perhaps a leave of absence. Several executives who don't know the full story begin to look at Maya with concern. Maya feels the trap closing. This is exactly what Lena did to Simone, but this time Maya is ready. Maya requests a formal meeting with HR to address Lena's concerns, with Sophie present as the HR director and with Thomas sitting in as her board-level advocate. In the meeting, Lena repeats her accusations about Maya's mental state, her unfitness for leadership. Maya stays calm. Then she plays the recording from the celebration dinner, Lena's voice clearly stating, "You're too emotional, too attached to people liking you. In this business, you have to be willing to do what others won't." Followed by other damning statements, the room goes silent. Lena's face drains of color. "That was a private conversation," she whispers. Maya responds coldly, "So were the meetings where you slandered my professional reputation, but here we are." Before Lena can recover, Maya presents the full dossier to Sophie, officially as HR Thomas, and demands Richard attend. Page by page, the evidence unfolds. Timestamps proving intellectual property theft, testimonies from Simone and others about Lena's pattern, Sophie's statement about finding Lena's undermining documents, the timeline of strategic manipulation. Richard looks increasingly uncomfortable. When Maya reaches the section about the affair, photos, hotel records, metadata from personal emails sent during business hours, Richard tries to end the meeting. Thomas stops him. "I think we all need to see exactly what's been happening in this company. The house of cards is collapsing." Thomas takes the evidence to the full board of directors, bypassing Richard entirely. An emergency board meeting is convened. Maya is asked to present her case. She does, calmly and methodically, focusing not on personal hurt but on corporate misconduct, intellectual property theft, falsification of work product, abuse of executive power, potential liability from the affair creating conflicts of interest. The board is appalled. Lena is suspended pending investigation. Richard is placed on administrative leave. Maya is offered interim leadership of the product division. She declines. "I want justice, not charity. Let the investigation run its course." The board respects her integrity. Kendra Wu publishes her article, Pattern of Manipulation, How One Tech Executive Built Her Career on Others' Work. It details Lena's history across multiple companies, includes interviews with Simone and others, and references the ongoing investigation at Horizon Tech without naming the company directly. The tech industry explodes with discussion. Lena's professional reputation is destroyed overnight. Her LinkedIn is flooded with comments. Former colleagues come forward with their own stories. Maya watches it unfold with mixed emotions, satisfaction, yes, but also sadness for the friendship she thought she had. Jake reminds her that friendship was never real. You're grieving something that didn't exist. Lena shows up at Maya's apartment at 11 p.m., desperate and disheveled. She begs for forgiveness, claims she didn't mean for it to go this far, says she was under pressure and made mistakes. "We've been friends for 12 years, Maya. That has to count for something." Maya, standing in her doorway, feels a wave of emotions, but mostly clarity. "You didn't treat me like a friend. You treated me like a resource to be exploited and discarded. 12 years doesn't obligate me to accept abuse." Lena's desperation turns to rage. "You self-righteous bitch. You've destroyed my entire career over one promotion. I hope you're proud of yourself." Maya closes the door. "I am," she says through it. That's the last time they speak. After 3 weeks, the board investigation concludes. The findings: Lena Chen engaged in intellectual property theft, systematic professional undermining, falsification of work attribution, and creation of a hostile work environment. She is terminated for cause, with no severance, and Horizon Tech reserves the right to pursue legal action. Richard Hastings is also terminated. The affair created a conflict of interest that compromised his judgment and exposed the company to liability. Caroline Hastings files for divorce. Maya receives a formal apology from the board and is offered the senior product director position legitimately, with a significant raise and public acknowledgement of her work. This time, Maya accepts. Maya's first act as director is to implement new policies: mandatory attribution for all project work, anonymous reporting systems for workplace misconduct, mentorship programs to support rising professionals. She hires Simone as a consultant to help design these systems, turning their shared trauma into structural change. Patricia is promoted to VP. Sophie, after therapy and time, thanks Maya for helping her escape an abusive relationship. The department begins to heal. Maya realizes that her revenge wasn't just about punishment, it was about preventing this from happening to others. That's what makes it meaningful. 3 months later, Maya is contacted by 2 other women from different tech companies. They've seen the article about Lena and recognize the patterns in their own workplaces. Different perpetrators, same tactics. They ask Maya for advice. She meets with them, shares her strategy, connects them with Marcus. Within 6 months, 2 more corporate misconduct cases are exposed in Seattle's tech scene. Maya realizes she's accidentally started a movement. Women begin reaching out to her, sharing stories, asking for guidance. She starts a monthly meetup group, Professional Self-Defense for Women in Tech. What started as personal revenge has become systemic change. A year later, Maya receives a legal notice. Lena is suing her for defamation and conspiracy, claiming Maya destroyed her career through false accusations and collusion. Maya's heart sinks. This could drain her financially even if she wins. But then something unexpected happens. Kendra Wu publishes a follow-up article featuring interviews with 8 women across 4 companies who have experienced similar patterns with Lena. Thomas and the Horizon Tech Board offer to cover Maya's legal fees. Simone and Sophie provide depositions. Within 3 months, Lena's lawyers quietly withdraw the lawsuit. They've realized it's unwinnable and only generating more negative publicity. Lena disappears from the tech industry entirely. Maya hears she moved back to her hometown in Ohio. It's truly over. 2 years after the boardroom betrayal, Maya stands in front of a conference room, this time presenting at a national tech leadership summit. Her topic: building ethical cultures in competitive industries. In the audience, she sees dozens of women who have reached out to her over the years, who have fought their own battles, who have won their own justice. Patricia is there, Sophie is there, Simone is there. After the presentation, a young woman approaches nervously. My manager is taking credit for my work. I don't know what to do. Maya smiles and hands her a business card. Let's talk. She thinks about who she was 2 years ago, devastated, betrayed, unsure if she'd survive. She thinks about who she is now, stronger, wiser, a leader not because she climbed over others, but because she refused to be climbed over. The best revenge wasn't destroying Lena. It was becoming the person Lena could never be, someone who lifts others up. Maya walks out of the conference center with Jake, who's now her fiancé, and thinks, this is what winning actually looks like. Not perfect, not without scars, but honest and free.